That's we're go get some.
We still got the Supreme New York.
What is
It's
ooh,
for your afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting. It's the 10th o'clock. Public liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag, the zeal of perfect friendship among. Thank you. Y'all be seated. We have a place that's for them. Well, just letting it cool. Could I
Crawford
here?
letter here. Councilor Saul, Councilor Corey,
Here.
Councilor Jackson.
So
I can't just high level.
oh, high levels. So needs. We'll go ahead and get started for approval of today's move some stuff around. Okay. Any other discussion? Please, man.
Aye. Councilor Eby.
Aye.
Hooker. Councilor Salas. Councilor Corey.
We've got things and that will move consent regular item. Number one, number two, of resolution 2025, a resolution supporting an application to the New Mexico Finance Authority, NMFA, under the Colonias Infrastructure Fund to improve essential public infrastructure in response to damages caused by flooding and other natural disasters. I'll thank Ron for being open to the suggestion and Dora Batista with the COG for bringing it to our attention. Item number three, approval of adoption of resolution 2025-40, a resolution requesting a time extension on local government road fund program cooperative agreement HW2L 200654 with the New Mexico Department of Transportation, MDOT. Item number four, approval of T-Hangar agreement between the Village of Ruidoso, Sierra Blanca Regional Airport, and Jay Bowers of Bravo 6T Hangar beginning October 20th, 2025. Item number five, approval of contract for services between the County of Lincoln and the Village of Ruidoso to provide library services to all citizens within the boundaries of Lincoln County to provide a total of $15,000 paid in 2 semi-annual payments. Item number six, approval of ratification of the state's grants and aid for public libraries agreement with the New Mexico State Library for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $10,000. Item number seven, approval of a purchase of 35 new body cameras from Axon Enterprises, Inc. utilizing statewide price agreement number 40-5-23-4 in the amount of $38,020.60. Number 8, approval of agreement with Axon Enterprise, Inc. for license maintenance and storage of Ruidoso Police Department body-worn cameras utilizing Sourcewell contract number 101223-AXN in the amount of $151,577.83, including New Mexico GRT. That's Municipal League.
So the reimbursement on the hardware itself with the body cameras, that would be from the municipal league.
Yes, thank you.
Licensing and everything else will be on hardware.
Okay. We just wanted to tell them thank you for that, putting that in. Item number 9, approval of proposal with Rymark Construction, Inc. for the Gavilan Canyon Emergency Sewer Line Project, eliminating the antiquated White Mountain Lift Station and tying into a gravity-fed line, utilizing New Mexico GSD statewide price agreement number 30-58-23-00070 in the amount of $262,132.81, including New Mexico GRT. Item number 10, approval of amendment number 4 with Souder Miller and Associates to provide additional construction, administrative, and observation services for an additional 80 days in accordance with change order number 2 and number 3 for water storage rehabilitation bid ITB number 2024-001B in the amount of $42,395.44, including New Mexico GRT. Item number 11, award of multi-awards for RFP number 2026-001P, on-call professional and general engineering services with a focus on design and construction of recreation trails and pathway design and roadway design and drainage to include federal guidelines to Souder Miller and Associates, Inc., Stantec Consulting Services, Inc., and Bohannon Houston, Inc. Number 12, approval of professional services agreement for Souder Miller and Associates, Inc., Stantec Consulting Services, Inc., Bohannon Houston, Inc., for on-call professional and general engineering services to include federal guidelines awarded via RFP number 2026-001P. Number 13, approval of multi-awards for RFP number 2026-00P, on-call professional and general engineering services for water and sewer systems improvements to include federal guidelines to Souder Miller and Associates, Inc., Cobb Finley and Associates, Inc., Park Hill and Waterworks Engineers, LLC. Number 14, approval of professional services agreement for Souder Miller and Associates, Inc., Cobb Finley and Associates, Inc., Park Hill and Waterworks Engineers, LLC, for on-call and general engineering services to include federal guidelines awarded via RFP number 2026-00P. Item number 15, approval of multi-awards for RFP number 2026-003, professional engineering services for watershed projects to include federal guidelines to Souder Miller and Associates, Inc., Cobb Finley and Associates, Inc., and Bohannon Houston, Inc. Item number 16, approval of professional services agreements for Souder Miller and Associates, Inc., Cobb Finley and Associates, Inc., and Bohannon Houston, Inc., for professional engineering services for watershed projects to include federal guidelines awarded via RFP number 2026-003P. Item number 17, approval of request to schedule a public hearing on December the 9th, 2025 for application submitted by Riverside Brewing, DBA Downshift Brewing Company, located at 813 Carrizo Canyon Road, Ruidoso, New Mexico, for small brewer liquor license without an on-premises consumption and package sales and a no patio service for liquor license BLA-5 12871. Number 18, approval of request to schedule a public hearing on December the 9th, 2025 for proposed ordinance 2025-08, adoption by reference of the 2025 Uniform Traffic Ordinance and changes to Appendix A, fines, fees, and penalties.
Mayor, I move approval of the consent agenda as read. Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, I'll take roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
All right, let's go ahead and I want to skip over public input for just a minute and go to mayoral reports and presentation of new employees, promotions and transfers. We always love it when we get new employees and when we get to promote from within. And we've had some retirements from some folks that we're going to miss, but life goes on. So anyway, one of our new hires is a new certified police officer. She was hired on 10/20/25, and I said she. And so Jessica Hull, would you please stand, Jessica?
Hey.
We actually got to swear Jessica in on the radio a week ago Monday, and so we're so tickled. And I know, hopefully you're not shy. We don't do this to embarrass you, but we'd like for you to tell us just a little bit about yourself, if you would. Yeah, I'd like for you to come right up here to that microphone. That'd be great. And so your family is the one that named Hull Road, is that right?
No, sir.
Oh,
I'm
you don't know
not
anything?
related to anyone in
Okay.
the area, unfortunately. But I was born in Louisiana, raised in Alamogordo, New Mexico, moved back to Louisiana, became a certified police officer over there, and I came to serve the mountain community of Ruidoso.
Excellent.
Wonderful, welcome.
So we're tickled to have you, and so you're already a certified officer,
Yes, sir.
and you've already started working on the streets and
Yes, sir.
everything like that. Well, we're very glad to have you here, and hopefully you have a long career and you stay here and live happily ever after, so.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to be representing the female police.
Yeah, we haven't had
in the
too
area.
many.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
It's
we're
been
glad to
some-
have you.
Good public representation.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
way.
And we want our officers, to really meet our folks in town, get to know the people downtown, the school systems, the kids and all the different things. So we'll be asking a lot of that input from you and whatever, anything you need, we're always here for you. You've got a good group to work with.
Sure do.
So, yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Derek Vega, utility warehouse worker, hard date 11/3/25. Welcome, Derek.
Hey.
Okay, quit that grinning, bring it on up. Are you going to tell us a little bit about yourself? And this is your one shot, so see, you get to ask any questions and be a part of it, but we're glad to have you here, and that's a big department.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to work for the Village of Ruidoso. Before this, I worked for the federal government, Bureau of Prisons. So I'm excited to be back in Ruidoso. So
Well, we're glad, so you born and raised here, or what?
I was born in Alamo. I was raised in Capitan.
Captain, so you're like a local boy, that's great. Well, we're glad to have you. Hopefully, everything works out well for you, and we're always here for you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then we've had a lot of movement over in this department here lately, and we've got someone good, and I'm talking about you, Jimmy. Jimmy Triplett, Youth and Adult Sports Coordinator. Hello, Jimmy. You're joining a great group of folks over there that are very instrumental in making people happy here in the village. So I know you've got a lot of work that you've been already doing. So tell us a little bit about you.
Name's James. I go by Jimmy, originally from Oklahoma. Moved out here to work on cell phone towers originally, but that slowed down a little bit. But mostly I wanted to work for the village just because I didn't get to spend much time when I was on the road and really loved it, and my family loves it and would like to, try to give back as much as possible.
Excellent. Well, thank you,
Welcome
Jimmy.
to Ruidoso.
We appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Transfers, I know Britta, I didn't see Britta. Britta transferred to forestry admin as takes place 11/20. So she was up front for a long time and now she's moved over. So hopefully she loves it over there. But we like it when people are able to move. Chris Camacho was in Parks and Rec. There's Chris. Now then, he's moved over to GIS coordinator, and I think this is kind of in your wheelhouse in the beginning.
Yes, sir. So first of all, I love working for the village. I really had enjoyed my time with the Parks and Rec. And now with Planning and Zoning Department, I'm really excited to apply my past skills and my knowledge to the Community Development Department. And I'm already having a really great time. So thank you all. And I guess that's about it for now.
Well, thank you, Chris. You do a great job everywhere you've gone, so we appreciate you. Thank you very much. Now, Chief, don't you have somebody you want to introduce us to? Come on down. Everybody knows our top cop, Chief of Police, Steve Minner, and his handy Yeti cup.
My coffee, I'm a coffeeaholic.
So tell us a little bit about who we have here.
So for quite a while now, we haven't had a number two in command. Actually, I've been using my lieutenants and I've been slotted to have a deputy chief for some time. But in that absence, it's kind of built up a workload for both the lieutenant and myself. And so we put out for this position, and we were fortunate enough to have Mr. Jason Giannopoulos put in, and he's going to be our new deputy chief.
And by way of Chicago, Albuquerque.
Yes, sir.
So
25 years with Chicago and 3 with Albuquerque.
So we're very happy to have you here for sure. And I know you'll be a big aid to the staff and everybody that we got over there. I asked him earlier if there's anything he could teach us. It seems to be with all the look for a new senator that Otero County's out Chicagoing us, with all their political moves. And he said he really thought Albuquerque had the lead in politics. And so that didn't sound too good. So
It's Chicago's known for certain things, and it seemed like Albuquerque was right on par.
Right on par with that. Well, we're glad to have you here, and I understand your daughter's a police officer in Albuquerque.
Yes, sir.
And I certainly hope the grass is a lot greener here, and maybe one day, we'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway, we appreciate you coming in and looking forward to meet your wife and everybody, so.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the opportunity. The village is absolutely beautiful. Like I told you earlier, the chief asked me why Ruidoso, and I turned around and looked out the window and I said, why not Ruidoso?
Yeah.
I've done my big city policing. I'm ready to pass on my knowledge and mentor these new officers and the staff that's there already, and help the chief in any way I can. So.
Good. Well, thank you very much. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
So
everybody.
Judy, is she online? No? We were going to introduce, do we have the Deputy Finance Director here?
Not till Monday.
Oh, not till Monday? Thank you. Okay, well, I thought we were going to have a free-for-all on that because we were able to get a new Deputy Finance Director, so we're excited about that too. Let me make sure. Was that everything on the promotions and transfers? I mean, it's pretty full slate. We do appreciate everyone that wants to make the village their home and look for opportunities. Maybe we don't have the one exist right now that fits the bill, and if you figure it out later, then we can make some changes, but we're real tickled about that. We'll have public input. Mayor Pro Tem, you want to read off a little rules?
Sure. I even pulled it out this time.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Public input, limited up to the first hour of the meeting. Public that would like to speak at the council meeting on an item that is or is not on the agenda, except consent regular items, and does not wish to be scheduled on the agenda, will be provided the opportunity for their input at the public input portion of the meeting under the following guidelines. A, presenters shall be either a resident, property owner, or business owner in the village of Ruidoso. B, presenters shall be required to sign in prior to the start of the meeting on the public input sign-in sheet provided at the corner of the attorney and manager's desk. Name, physical address, phone number, and topic of discussion shall be provided. C, presenters will be recognized in the order listed on the public input sign-in sheet as time allows with the agenda items, having priority over non-agenda items. D, presenter must state their name. E, presenter must state in one or two sentences what the presenter will be addressing before council. F, presenter must keep the comments relevant to the business at hand and shall not make personal, rude, or slanderous remarks regarding any member of the public or village officers and staff, and shall not become boisterous or disruptive while addressing the council. The governing body or staff shall not comment or engage in discussion during the public input period. G, presenters shall keep the comments brief and limited to 5 minutes. And I'll be the timekeeper and I'll give you a 2-minute warning. H, time measurement shall be used to be distributed equitably for all presenters. I, if any of the above guidelines are violated, the presenter shall be declared out of order and will immediately cease continued comment. J, presenters may only be allowed to speak once. If follow-up comments need to be made, it can be only done at the council's discretion. Presenters violating the provisions of Section F through J will be requested to leave the meeting and may be barred by the presiding officer from further audience before the council for a period of 6 months. I didn't know that part.
Well, the reason we did that, because we haven't read that thing in over a year, and I was reminded that we need to put these out there from time to time to remind people so that if it's ever enforced, which we don't ever have any issues, but if you ever have to enforce it, that it's been made public again. So that's what that was. Thank you for that boring report, but we appreciate it. Sometimes you have to do things like that. First up, Bill Hall. And on deck, Deanna Oberhue. Afternoon, Mr. Hall.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Bill Hall. I'll try not to get disqualified by reminding everybody the Patriots are still in first place.
Oh, my God.
And Dallas probably isn't going to a Super Bowl in my lifetime.
Probably not.
So.
I'm sorry, we're not supposed to have interaction during this.
I couldn't resist. It was kind of interesting. I mean, my comments today come out of a conversation I had with a good friend of mine, retired police officer, and his wife. And it's something I started thinking about it a little bit more. And it was kind of one of those things that, having spent the career that I did, I realized long ago, perception is reality. And we've got a few things here that I think you may or may not be aware of, but they definitely cause perceptions. You remember, all of the floods and everything, we dealt with the floods and how that just went crazy over social media. We've done a better job of not necessarily fighting back, but educating people. But that's something that Mother Nature, we can't control that. The things I'm going to talk about are kind of something that I have to look at my notes here. But it came out of a philosophy first developed by James Wilson and George Kelling in 1982. Those names probably mean nothing to you, but they came up with what was called the broken windows theory. And that basically is a social construct idea that suggests visible signs of disorder. And disorder can include graffiti, litter, broken windows, encourage antisocial behavior. I'll get back to why that's important, but looking around, there's a couple of things I look around that perception. Here's one. I'll start with the one that's been ongoing for 3 months. 305 Brady Canyon. Been in permit, red tag. It's been in a state of construction debris all over the site. It's now spilling down into Brady Canyon. 3 months. Nothing's been done. Let's go to the next one. 4 months. The street cuts that Windstream did up on Spruce, on Juniper and Hemlock Circle. They've been open for over 4 months. It's getting close to winter. The crosscut ones, when we have to plow those streets, you're going to tear up the pavement, and it's going to be worse than the town's going to have to deal with it. And the last one is one I did mention last month about graffiti in Midtown. But the reason it hit me home when I was talking to my friends, when I was talking to my friend, the ex-cop, he said, well, yeah, I look at graffiti and I say, some gang or some kid's doing that. What his wife said when I asked her, what do you think when you see graffiti? And her comment hit me. Her comment was, I don't feel safe here. Okay, we've had graffiti in Midtown in a burned out building all summer. How many people came to Midtown this summer, saw it, and had the impression, what's going on here? There's graffiti. I'm not safe here. Will I come back? How many were one and done? If I was a business owner down there, I'd really be pissed, because it's one of those ones, that's the economic engine of the village. And that's something that we do have a way to deal with it. We do need to deal with it, because that impression caught me more than anything else. When a woman or a mother says, I don't feel safe here, you don't want that for Midtown. But how close am I? 1 minute. Okay, of course, and then I'll bug Matt about, dual-use facilities so we can get the World Disc Golf Championships here. We've got a beautiful facility out here that will hold crowds. We just need to find a way to make that work. Thanks, guys, as always.
Thank you. Deanna Oberhue.
I'll try not to get kicked out for being too boisterous. Good afternoon, Mayor Crawford and village councilors. My name is Deanna Oberhue. Thank you for the opportunity to express my gratitude to the village for hosting 40 of my dual credit environmental science students for tours of the wastewater and drinking water treatment plants. We also stopped by a site in the village to learn how to minimize fire damage around our homes. It was great for students to be able to see firsthand some of the lessons that they've been reading about in a textbook. I also think that the opportunity to show young future professionals career opportunities in Ruidoso is not only important for them, but also important for Ruidoso. So first, I'd like to specifically mention and thank Village Manager Ron Senna, who helped me brainstorm this field experience. Ron was instrumental at every step, from the support of our transportation needs to his last-minute adjustment to our schedule around the construction of the solar project at the wastewater treatment plant. Next, I'd like to thank Jacqueline and Isaac, David, Terry, Randy, Gabe, Lucas, Eric, and all of the other village staff for an excellent educational experience. My students were required to complete a field report after our trip, and I would like to share a few of their words with you. Ureli wrote in her report, "This trip helped me realize how much science, engineering, and teamwork go into something as simple as turning on the tap. I was amazed to see how microorganisms, filters, and advanced technology all work together to make clean water possible. I've never even thought about it until we started learning about the different treatments. It also makes me appreciate how dedicated the people are who maintain these systems, how important they are to ensuring our safety, and how important clean water is for health, safety, and the environment." Kaya wrote, "When we visited a part of town that was in the South Fork fire of 2024, the instructor, Eric Anala, showed us a house that had survived the fire. He showed us everything that the owner of the house has kept up with and why their house wasn't affected. He listed many things to help keep your house safe. Keep your roof and gutter clean, minimize the things around your house that can catch fire, keep your firewood at least 20 feet from the structure of your home, etc." Benjamin wrote, this is for the wastewater treatment plant folks. Benjamin wrote, "I was shocked to learn that flushable wipes aren't actually flushable, and they actually cause a lot of problems because they clog up our water treatment equipment. And Natasha wrote, this field trip also made me appreciate where my water comes from and the people who work very hard to be able to produce clean water. The last comment I want to read is from Savannah. She wrote, everyone really seemed to enjoy their jobs, which made it more interesting because they had passion in what they were doing for work. So, the village employees have had a hugely positive impact on Ruidoso High School students, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You still have 2 minutes.
I might be too boisterous.
No, we appreciate when we were down at legislative session, she had a bunch of students down there learning about that too. Josh, and I'm sorry, is it Menrell? Josh. Oh, is it? Did I say Menrell right? I mean, everything looks like a bunch of men's. Okay. All right, we will move on. Thank you, everybody, for your comments and input. We do appreciate it. And so many times we get comments and input on different things that we don't see around town, that we get on a list and we start moving toward. So we're working on it. Next, we'll go to boards and commissions. Item number 1 is discussion and possible action on appointment of Austin Miley. He's not present. And I look at it, and I'm going to call him Muley, but it's Miley, Assistant Fire Chief, as an alternate to the Consolidated Dispatch Joint Board. So everybody knows Austin.
Yeah, I move that we accept Austin Miley's appointment as Assistant Fire Chief as an alternate to the Consolidated Dispatch Joint Board.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, and I think it was a Hooker.
Was it Hooker?
I think so.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
All right, thank you, everybody. Now we'll move on to the village manager's report, and I think everybody got a village 2025 winter events that you can talk about. We've got Veterans Day tomorrow, so please, if you can, show up tomorrow at 10:30. Anthony's going to be doing a great job at the community center. We'll do the veterans, the flag raising, and then afterwards we're going to have lunch down there. So please come one, come all.
Basoli?
Is that what it is, Pasoli?
Usually, yeah.
Usually that's for the parade. I don't know what he's got working.
Not sure.
Whatever he's got, it's always good. Then on the 17th, we have youth basketball. So we have a whole list of stuff that Parks and Rec puts out. Ice rink is getting ready to open up. And so Christmas in the park, December the 4th. And then December, is it the 3rd? We have the appreciation.
Yes.
We have appreciation mixer for everybody that we have 15 boards across the village of Ruidoso that are almost all full. I think we need a couple for Parks and Rec, and we need one for Wingfield House. Other than that, they're all full, and that's really remarkable, says a lot about our community. So we just have a little thank you, a little gift, and then we have some food and drinks that we get people to donate money for. And so it's just appreciation from everybody all the way around. So we'll make sure that people know about that. But that's all coming up, and then it's Christmas.
In Mayor
Are you hot
Crawford,
over there?
Mayor Crawford.
His cheeks are flushing over there. Could you maybe
I
turn the air
don't
conditioner?
care.
She's over here in a blanket.
I'm
Yvonne, you want to turn the AC on?
nice
Yeah, you
and
want to turn the air
warm.
conditioner? She's over here got
I have the key
cheeks
right here.
flush over here on me. So
Thank you, Yvonne.
I can't even believe you're doing that. Finally, one meeting,
small
I'm
one.
not freezing to death.
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, start on the manager's report. I'm going to have Michael Martinez and Levi Beatty come on up. We have a couple items. We're going to provide some updates. Mike's going to, and Levi will do one on 603 Meacham. Also on the White Mountain Sports Complex, we're going to do a little bit of an update on that also. In following this, Mayor, we also had a plaque that the village received an award on Friday, and
I didn't know when you wanted me to show that.
I'll let you do that after the manager's report.
Okay. So
Mayor, Council, on 603, as y'all have probably seen driving by 603, they have finished the driveway there going into 603. I did get 7-day breaks back on the concrete, and it's almost at 4,000. It was at 3,800 in 7 days, compressive strength, so that's good news. The concrete broke well, so they're holding off for a few more days on using that entrance. But White Sands is back on site, and they're chipping away at it. There's a lot of handwork, going around each of the homes and everything. So the fencing right now is on, it's as far as we can go until, now that we've got the driveway done, we'll work on getting the fencing company back. And then, but really, we're probably going to wait until they're done around the homes to actually do the fence around the blocks. So that's on hold. And then landscaping is also on hold until after White Sands is done with the work around them.
What's the fencing?
We're doing a 4-foot metal fence, like the fence that's on the sides of the property. It'll be like that around the homes, our panel
Okay.
So
style.
Levi, a guesstimate on when people can move in?
See, his predecessor, Adam, would have given us swag. He still's waiting. He knows that everybody gets held to date, so.
I'll
Smart
give
kid.
I'll give you the date. He won't get in trouble. We're hoping in about 3 to 4 weeks is when we'll finally get some sign off. So the last item, Mayor and Councilor Corey, that we're waiting for is there still has to be an adjustment for a ponding area on that bottom side before there's anyone that's going to be allowed to be moved in. And so White Sands has done about 3/4 of what needs to be done on agreement with permitting. The final piece is, and I'd hate that, I'm gonna knock on wood, but we'll work with P&M ultimately, if we have to see if there has to be a ponding area over one of the main lines in that area. I'm hoping we don't have to go that route, because if we do, that 4-week date will get pushed to possibly 12 or 13 weeks, because a line would have to be moved or adjusted. And so we do not want to go that route. We'd much rather build some type of retention or retaining ponds that control flow a little bit better. But we have not gotten the finalized design of that yet, and we're hoping to get that soon.
So we didn't have that to begin with?
It failed engineering.
So we did not get, let me rephrase this, Councilor Letterman, we actually made, and I'm going to point to this guy right here, he was smart as a whip when we were out there. He did point out to the engineer that we needed it. He also pointed out that there were certain concerns that he had related to drainage. The engineer that was on file at the time basically said, nope, we don't have the same concerns. And because we did not get the permitting component, we missed that portion of the section. We did have open RFIs that questioned those issues. Now that the state's reviewed it and said, yes, you did need the drainage, we are working on that. So it was identified early on, it wasn't moved on, and now we're having to wait longer to get it done.
And that was after all the state and everybody inspected.
And I remember that. I just didn't remember the pond. Does every house have to have a drainage pond?
Mayor, Councilor Letterman, so there's just one singular pond there before it goes under 48.
Okay.
Marty Pilar, the engineer on record, did have an issue, and he put the pond, or the proposed pond, on his drawings over an existing, or a P&M line that we had just put in. So that is having to be readjusted as far as location on the site.
Okay.
And Mayor Crawford, members of the council, they had another engineering firm come in, Sauter Miller, to revise and did a peer review on the plan set, so.
Yeah, so just stay after it. But across the street, it's really picking up.
Yes.
At Elk Meadows,
Nice.
yep. And we're still having issues with P&M getting over there for
Our
power.
friend Bill pointed out that's what happens when you have a public-private partnership. Things get done.
Well, I mean, it's just like on this other one, we had all the bases covered, and when you hire an engineer, and that they push things through, and they fight you the whole way, and you have to go after E&O insurance, and you have to go, all that, it takes time, and they've had good weather, too. Plus, they work on Sundays, Saturdays?
We're hoping that engineering for the electrical will be done hopefully in about 3 weeks out there.
And
So
that's, Michael, that's a 70.
72 units.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Also, I was going to have Mike and Levi here also provide an update on the White Mountain Sports Complex.
Mayor, council, so we're aware of some of the concerns there, and we had DRC over there working, and I'm working on getting with John Moon, with getting back over there to clean that area up. That is private property there, though, so the school actually will have to request assistance.
Would you be more specific what we're talking about? The wood?
Mayor, no, the debris there.
There's a lot of debris.
The equipment that's standing there, all of the dirt that's on top of the school's new.
On the school property?
No, equipment, Counselor Corey, are you talking about the yard there that, that J&H Services is
They ran
currently using?
And Levi, I recognize the school owns that property, and that begs the question, has the school and the village had a meeting yet?
So, Mayor and Councilor Corey, we haven't had one of our dual committee meetings. We probably need to set one of those back up again. But in general, in relation to whether the school itself has worked with the state, that's where Levi made reference to working with John Moon. It's my understanding, and John Moon will confirm this for us hopefully later today, but that the school actually hasn't filed a project in that area, just to make sure everything's cleaned up of if there was any excess impact from the flooding in that one area off of where the bar ditch is at. But on the other pieces that was identified by Levi, and then some of the photos that you had submitted, they are still working on the logs. We're looking at trying to make sure that we keep track of those.
That's just gotten too much.
Yes, sir.
It started out, it was a little area, now it's probably 3/4 of an acre. But I urge you to have that meeting. We've talked about it several times now, and
You talking about where they're storing their equipment in the fence?
So there's that
They're
area,
paying
Mayor?
for that. So I heard they
Yes,
had a
sir.
contract, so
So that's outside of our jurisdiction.
They're paying the school for
Yes, J&H Construction while they're doing our project, they've leased that area there or rented that spot where the fencing is at for all their equipment, so.
yeah.
Staging, it's a staging
I
location.
understand, at least from 2 board members, though, they're very frustrated. And so I think it'd be a good idea for us to get that committee
You
to.
should have Becca call.
Yes.
I mean, Beatty's never said one thing, Tomlin's never.
They've never told
No.
me anything.
So on the logs,
Yes, sir.
yeah, that's getting spread
getting-
out. There's people there every day working on this stuff, but it could be tightened up some.
Yeah, it's
So
getting a little.
We'll
there's a
work
lot.
with our team, and I'll reach out to Jerry today and make sure that if anything else is dropped off there, we hold off for a little bit. And what may happen is, depending on any agreements that come to council for any type of green waste, we may be switching that location as well, so.
Good.
Okay, we'll reach out to Becca and to.
You could do like one of those lumberjack competitions like they got going on over in Clarkcroft. It's all right there, man. I mean,
It's a lot of,
and some of those guys, they're pretty proficient with those things, but there is a lot over there.
Is that a liability? Is that the
No.
village, that's the school's parking lot? I was just wondering if because those are huge logs, they're probably having to cut them with a chainsaw.
Oh, definitely.
They are.
And
And-
so I was just wondering, is that a
Mayor
liability?
Crawford and Councilor Letterman, we visited with Gordy and with Becca about placing the logs there, and they gave us permission for that. So, but we'll work with them on that. There is a lot.
But everything is a liability, the disc golf course.
Oh, yeah.
The walking trail, ankles
understand.
getting turned.
I understand.
Yeah, so the project at the Elk Meadows, have they tied in the sewer line yet? Not yet, they're in the process?
No, sir, they haven't. They're, should be here in the next couple of weeks. I'll reach out and see when, should be the next couple of weeks.
But if you could, I mean, I'd drive over there and try to stay out of the way, but man alive, he said they're gonna have another additional 25 to 40 employees over there working pretty quick. So, they are really making hay over there. That's pretty good, and hopefully we can do more with those guys.
And Mayor, I just wanted Mike and Levi also with myself, and we had Eric there and Bianca at the infrastructure conference last week, and the village was awarded that, Mayor, that
Yeah.
plaque.
I'll read it.
And it's for a new category. It was for the Emergency Management Award, and it showcased our new EOC facility at the Horton Complex, and it was an honor to receive that on behalf of the village and all the staff and the governing bodies. So it was a huge success, and it's always great to be able to be
Well,
honored
I
for that.
think the new category, and I'll just read it. It's presented to the Ruidoso Emergency Operations Center and intermittent.
Response.
Yes.
Intermittent. See, that's what we've been having is flood, stop,
Yes.
flood, stop, flood.
Absolutely.
Response program in Ruidoso that you guys and the emergency manager and everybody put together, the fire chief in the
Yes.
back, police chief.
Yep.
Doing a great job staying up with all of that. That's really amazing. With sincere appreciation for your outstanding achievement as recipient of the Emergency Management Award. So, and this was given to, by who?
It was given by the New Mexico Infrastructure Finance Conference that we were at.
Well, congratulations,
So,
guys.
thank you to everybody.
And Mayor and Council, just a addition on what Ron had mentioned, the reason that we had submitted for this or that we were nominated for this is that capital investment dollars went into an actual infrastructure piece, being the EOC, that allowed us to be able to perform what the chief and Eric do on those intermittent responses. And so being able to link the infrastructure funds to the program funds was key for us to be able to do that. And so it was a huge success, so.
Always thinking, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Did you want Matthew to come up and
Sure.
go into more detail about your winter events?
Yeah.
Did you have anything else with Michael?
No,
Go ahead,
Do
Mike.
you want me to go over the?
oh, yes, let's go over, there's one more item real quick.
The only item I was going to go back over, Mayor and Council, I know Alex isn't here today, so I was going to go over the community development report. I noticed that there's two items that I really wanted to address on here specifically, the number of STRs that are listed versus the number of STRs that were scrubbed. And so we still have our 1,267 active STRs that are out there. And I am working with the entity to make sure we verify this, but we have 2289 that came back. We were always told that there was about 500 that were unscrubbed that we would look at that are not permitted. This is telling us that there's about 1,000. So we, again, we want to make sure that we're verifying that because we always had that 500 number, but we are going to be working on that 1,000 number to verify whether there are 1,000 STRs out there that are not permitted. And if they are, we want to try and bring them into compliance because that would be a significant impact to the village.
How is the software performing?
We had a lot of bugs to work out initially, so it was the data transfer that occurred. There was bad data that we had in the system. So when it went into the system, we tried to clean up as much of it as possible. We are finally starting to get most of that filtered out. We do have questions about the reporting component that's been happening. And again, the initial reporting has always been the same. And so a lot of people, I think, are just getting caught up on what they are not used to doing just because the software is so robust and it's giving them those notifications. But we're still working through a little bit more, but I think it's working well for us overall.
What about the issues of people that have paid have remitted their collections? We were showing they still owed. Did we get those figured out?
We are still addressing those, Mayor, but I think they've been lowered significantly since then. So we're only working on a couple now versus the several that had requested that we review them.
Okay.
The other item that I wanted to touch base on, it's my understanding that there was a question possibly by council related to the building inspection and permit tallies. The one question I want to ask council in general is, I know there's a lot of information that's in these reports. If there's a better way to showcase that to you or to present it to you, so at the end of the day, we're giving you the total number of building inspections that are actually being done. For this month, for example, it was a total of 1061, and 24 was 1242. We do have them broken down by whether they are commercial, whether they are residential, whether they are electrical, building, plumbing, and/or mechanical. And so we can consolidate those, we can clear those up. We want to make sure, because you're getting 7 pages of data, and I don't think it's very helpful to you. So if we can change that into a better way, I'll take questions, concerns privately, or any comments you may have.
Well, Michael, I asked Ron, normally we see the property address, that field's blank. There's two columns that are blank. Is there a reason why they're blank now and they haven't been in the past?
Yes, sir. So you have an S and a T column. The S column is actually a column where we do advisory for those individuals that walk in. What you may not see is that at the very end, there's 2. And so it actually documented 2 advisory calls for the last month. The T column is empty because we actually didn't take anything in, and that's the technical component. So we actually didn't have any technical requests for this month.
There's no longer addresses.
I'll make sure that those are added. So I know from last month to this month, it was slightly different, and we did have someone else doing the report this month. I'll make sure that it captures the addresses similarly as it did last month.
Because if we get calls, it's nice to be able to refer back to the summary of the inspection reports.
I'll make sure those are included, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, and also, Michael, that in the last few reports on the permit, well, actually on the inspections, that it was listed what the inspection was for. That kind of gives us an idea of what's going on in town.
I'm sorry,
Well, and like say if it was an electrical inspection, an STR inspection, and so on.
So those are, and just to make sure, Counselor Eby, that I'm tracking, so any one of the areas, so the C is commercial, the R is residential, E, and it kind of breaks them down. If there's a 1 in those sections, it identifies that that's what the actual inspection was for. What I will have our team do, because I do think that it gets cluttered, is if there isn't any other inspection, it'll have like a dash saying that nothing else is there and whether it's been finalized or not for the property. Would that help clear that up as well?
All right, it's just that, like I say, before it would be whether it was, let's say, framing or electrical or STR permit or a deck. You know what I mean? That's what it used to list that as far as what the inspection was called for.
And we can go back to the prior and work with Chris. I believe Chris will be the one that's going to be working on those. Let's get with him and we'll get that.
Because, Ron, one of the challenges, there's not a key that explains what these numbers mean.
All right.
Well, and under the permit number, I thought that, if we could click on it, it would bring up the address, it would bring it, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
So if we just know where they're at, and one of the issues that we used to get into, Mike, was people not completing their permitting. They'd go through 1, 2, 3 things, and then 3 years later, they're living in the house, they never got a final. And so just to make sure that we're inspecting all these things have been done.
Yes, sir.
That's all, just a little more. I know the work's already there, it just needs to be put down where we can.
We'll work with
follow
Chris
it.
on that, so.
Yes.
And not necessarily this report, but is there any way that we could have a blighted report every month? We don't have to always go through it, but I would like to know in the month, what have we done? I mean, is it stagnant? Are we waiting for a letter? Did we send out a 45-day letter or whatever? But just to know what's going on with the blighted program.
Yes, ma'am. So we've actually created that report. You should be getting it this month. And that was out of the discussion that council had last month.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then I know we're doing new business registration on those, and so that helps. We just want to know the new businesses that are coming in, and so we can support them and make sure that they've got plenty of information on how to access if they have questions or whatever. So I appreciate it's got the addresses and
Yeah,
things of that nature. But I want to set up something internally where we send something to them. Do we do that? To
We
let them know?
don't, Mayor. I'll go ahead and make sure that we can, maybe we can have a discussion where it's either a welcome from the council
Yeah.
or mayor's.
Introduce them to chamber and
Yeah,
whatever, and
I,
if
uh,
Midtown or
I
whatever.
encouraged Deborah last month to start looking at that, reaching out to all these new businesses.
Absolutely.
Because we're getting quite a few, a lot of them are service companies and whatnot, and there's really not, hardly a day goes by that I don't get asked, who can we get to do this or that? And, so, anyway, I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Levi also is working with his staff and on their managers' reports. They might see a few changes too, so.
That's fine.
And I know we've had some changes.
Yeah.
And on the Blythe thing, I know, Robert's not here anymore. And we used to rely on him on a lot of those reports, and so we just need to institutionalize them so that they transfer from, with the positions and things of that nature. Sir. Okay. And I was impressed by the GRT report still coming. I know most of that. The increases are all with construction or whatever. I'm still concerned about retail, and those businesses are still down. So we're working feverishly trying to get the information for the track to get started. Hopefully, we're going to get our SB 31 money cut loose so we can start performing on some of these projects that FEMA is obligated, that we can get moving forward on. And some of the watershed meetings that we've had, hopefully we can implement some of those things as soon as we get open.
Mayor,
Federal
speaking
government.
of FEMA, have they pulled some of the promised funds?
Well, what they did do is they put out there on the cascading, you remember we talked about that before, they weren't going to pay. Cascading means you had the fire. I don't know why I'm talking, I should have the engineer over here. But the fire, the burn scar, and then the subsequent flooding, they pay for that. And then the next flood, they're like, we're not responsible for these cascading events. So they didn't want to pay for those. And so we have contacted DHSM and Executive Ally Rye and her staff has filed a
Appeal letter.
appeal on all of that. So we're fighting with that.
Michael, how much money's involved?
So it's 7% of whatever the total submission is. So in this last year, what we received is there's basically 20 million for the disaster component that's available.
Right.
And we actually have multiple projects that from last year's component that we're waiting on. So everything from, low water crossing components that we're working on to generators to, other smaller programs. So we're ordering that. This year, what we were gonna try and go after is things like taking the water and sewer lines outside of the river, or some of those other components, those 404 funds that are there. Now, with that being said, there hasn't been this year a disaster that's actually received those funds on a national level, but we're trying to focus on that, so.
His cheeks are flushed over. I think he's going to fall over and faint here in a minute.
Take your jacket.
Mayor, thank you for looking at.
I'm trying to do my best.
It was on heat. Yvonne put it on heat.
Oh, my gosh. Well, thanks for nothing.
So now the air conditioner's gonna come on.
Oh,
At
Yes.
least a fan or something.
Gosh.
Any other questions on the manager's report?
I'm going to have Matt come up, Mayor, but one other thing is some good news, and we're keeping our fingers crossed, but we did go over another hurdle on the Water Trust Board application. We submitted 11 of them, and they did make it to the final review, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that we get funded, so.
Yeah, I was told that we're looking really good on all that stuff. So thank you, Levi. Thanks for,
Thank you
we were
both.
calling him puppy breath this morning because he's still so fresh. But he's a good sport about it.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council.
Good afternoon.
I've given you all a list, kind of for y'all to refer to. We do have a lot of things coming up at this holiday season, as we all know, and so calendars get full pretty quick. Mayor touched on several of them, but tomorrow we do have the Veterans Day flag raising at the community center. And so that starts at 10:30. We encourage everybody to get there about 10:30. The flag usually goes up about 11, but get there by 10:30 just to just make sure you're there in time. And then we'll have food afterwards. We do normally have pozole. I know this year we have a lot of other restaurants donating. I think Subway's donating, Slotsky's donating, and I've heard several others. So encourage you to come out. There's plenty of food, so come support our veterans, local veterans, and thank you to the fire department, the police department also. They normally send people out and help with that festivity. The 17th, we do have our 8U basketball season starting, so that's the younger kids, the older kids starting in January. The 29th, so the Saturday after after Thanksgiving is always a busy day for us. We have the turkey trot that morning at 10 a.m. That run is a 5K that goes around the links. It's always a fun time. That's one of our more fun ones. A lot of people show up. We have a lot of out-of-town people that show up to that one. The family all comes in from out of town to the mountains for the Thanksgiving and then comes and does the turkey trot run. And so it's always a good time. Same day, the 29th, is at 11 a.m. Our ice rink will open at Wingfield Park. So the Saturday after Thanksgiving is when the ice rink will open. 12/4, which is on Thursday. It's the Thursday after Thanksgiving. Christmas in the Park is that day, 6 p.m. We'll have the Christmas tree lighting. There'll be free ice skating that day. We'll have coffee, hot chocolate, cookies, all kinds of fun festivities. The mayor's switch has worked 3 years in a row now for me, and so this is my fourth year. We do have
We
some.
get to count down, correct? We're not
Yeah, as long as we
counting
count
up.
down. We do really look forward. We have some new things that we're planning on this year for the park. I'm hoping we're able to pull them out. I think we got the lights we need to pull them off, so I think we will. But you'll see a few differences in the park as well this year. And so instead of the lights above, around the trail that are about waist height, we've actually are doing lights on the ground this year, rope lighting on the ground. We always have problems with the deer and elk and horses and people tearing those lights up, and it's been a lot of time fixing them. And so we're trying rope lights this year to put them on the ground.
They can really pound on.
Yeah, it's like stomp on them at least instead of tearing them down their antlers. So we're really looking forward to Christmas in the Park. Then that Saturday afterwards is the Festival of Light Parade. And so that's not one of our events, that's the chamber event. However, they do have the after party at Wingfield Park. And we do free ice skating that day also for everybody. So it's a fun day for everybody to go enjoy the parade, then come to the park and ice skate and just have a good time. And then we'll have a drive-in movie and drone show on 12/13. So the Saturday following the Festival of Lights Parade, the next Saturday we'll have the drive-in movie and drone show. And this year's movie is Nutcracker in the Four Realms. It's a Disney movie. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's really good. So we look forward to that. And then we'll have the drone show. That starts at 6:15, the movie does. And then the drone show will start about 8:15.
And that's at Wingfield?
No, that's going to be at White Mountain
You
Sports
moved it
Club.
back to White Mountain?
Yes, yeah. The drone show is easier to fly at White Mountain just because we can put them on the baseball fields, a protected area, and we don't have to worry about people getting under them and stuff like that.
Have the lights gone up in Midtown yet?
Not yet. They are starting that process now. We started last week. We put the ice rink up and started at the Y, and we're working our way through town, putting up Christmas
You
lights.
guys always do a phenomenal job.
Yes.
Midtown gets lit the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Okay,
We'll light it.
thank you, Tito.
Yes, sir.
Got your new bucket truck all wound up.
Yes, sir. We got the bucket truck and our lift we get every year. We have both of them going full time. They're going nonstop, so.
And we do have this snow removal plan. You're
Yes,
already
sir.
working with the utilities,
Yes,
Josh
sir.
and those guys, so I know you guys are on top of that.
I'm gonna miss my early morning Adam phone calls, but
Yeah,
Levi will have to do, I guess.
he'll do.
I talked to Adam yesterday, and he said he's sleeping at night now.
And I bet.
Yeah.
That's good.
You got anything, T-Bone?
No, Mr. Mayor, I think you covered it all.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for everything that you do.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
y'all.
Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to it. Anything else? Edward, you think you could just tell everybody tonight the SBA thing that you put together, a special event? Yeah. We still have a lot of businesses that are struggling, and SBA still has different programs. And so Eddie worked with Teagan. What was his name?
Deetris.
What?
Deetris.
Deetris, not
Yep.
Teagan. Yeah, Dietrich.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. We put together an event tonight over at Downshift Riverside where we're going to have SBA and someone from Homeland Security there talking about all the different grants and business loan opportunities that are still available for people who have been affected by the floods and fires. So some people don't even realize that there's a lot of available money right now. And there's people that I've been able to help get hundreds of thousands of dollars already by just having them go and sit down and meet with the representatives. So this is something that we're going to start around 5:30. 6 o'clock is when they're going to start speaking and doing a presentation. So I think it's anyone who hasn't taken advantage of it or have looked into it or doesn't think that they can get some different grants should definitely come out and at least apply for it, because the window is closing up in April for this money. So please let everyone know, come out, meet with, because now we have them face to face where they can ask them questions versus once they leave, they won't have the ability to sit across the table from them to, get specific questions answered. So please let everyone know.
Good for you. Thank you for
Thank you.
reaching back
Thank
out
you very
and
much.
doing that and trying to make it available best you can.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
And then want to remind everybody about the gentleman that does the tax credit, volunteer work through the community center that you can get up to $250,000 possibly on tax credit if your home was damaged and you had a big loss. And so you just need to get with Anthony at the community center and he will get you in touch with that individual. And I've talked to the individual. We've advertised it where we could. We've talked about it, but people aren't showing up. People aren't taking advantage of it. And it's just like everything else. There's so much information. You get fatigued. You don't know what to do. You get paralyzed. And so we just want to keep making these things available. And this gentleman is offering his expertise free of charge. So please take advantage of it if you can. So every little bit will help. And then Lord knows we'll get back to where we need to be. You sure you're good? Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. We'll get reports from municipal officials. Would you like to start down there, Mr. Joe?
Oh, well, thank you, Mayor. Well, the end of the year, there's a lot going on there. Starting, I remember the last month was the Toss No Mas. Toss No Mas, then we had the pumpkin roll, we had Midtown, we had the enchilada meal.
Rotary.
The Rotary. And I know there's going to miss a few things. Oh, also the Wingfield House Museum there, and I hope Stephanie's doing well.
She's doing better,
Uh-huh.
I hear, so.
Yeah,
Been
so
in touch with her.
that certainly was an unfortunate accident, so I certainly hope she's doing better there. And I believe that there's going to be a lot of happy parents and spectators at the Sunny Slope ball field now that the new bathroom is there.
Yeah, that's a nice
So
one.
if y'all have been there, it looked really nice there. They picked out a good spot for it. They said it wouldn't get flooded, no water, but it looks great. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of happy people. So we're just looking forward to all the events that are coming up and the closeout of the 2025 and looking forward to 2026. I did work the elections. I was happy to see that a lot of people came out for that. Even though it was just the school board and ENMU board, it showed interest in the community, because I have sat through some of those school board elections where you might have had 200 people show up the whole day. So we had about 550 show up, plus the early voting here. So that was a good turnout. So that was good. At least I didn't have to twiddle my thumbs all day. But I'm looking forward to closing out the year and starting the new one.
Excellent,
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilor Letterman, anything but volleyball. Go ahead.
Well, I have to say, the Lady Warrior volleyball team won district Thursday night.
Our granddaughter plays.
Yes, she does. And we're on to state on Thursday at 8 a.m.
Tehachapi.
Yes, and Tehachapi is a 3A school in northern New Mexico. And so we're excited about that. Joe mentioned Tosno Moss. There were 77 participants and 18 miles of road picked up.
Good.
So that's good.
How does
100
that compare to the event in April?
It wasn't quite as good.
Toscanos is all small.
Yeah. But 162 bags were picked up, translates to 4,200 pounds of trash. So then I'm so excited about our library.
Oh, your library mobile.
Yes, and it hasn't been wrapped yet. In the next couple of weeks, it'll be wrapped. That's what it's going to look like. But the back door's open, and that's our books, our bookmobile. And so we're very excited. Denise has done a great job.
It's being done in Roswell?
It is. Yes, it is. Yes. But I think it looks great.
Looks
and
awesome.
I wanted y'all to see that. So we will be a traveling library as well for special events and so.
And also working on book delivery.
Yeah, book deliveries. So thank you very much. Our library does such a great job.
Excellent.
And then, as I was coming down the road to come to this meeting, I started taking pictures of the trash at our dumpsters. I call it illegal dumping because this is, Yvonne, you want to go to the next one? It's just, this one had a hot water heater. The dumpster above me has 2 huge hot water heaters. And
And a garage sale right beside the dumpster.
yeah, and then this one. And in no way am I saying bad to us for not, this is still sitting there. One day the village can pick this stuff up and the next day it's this big again. Plus, hot water heaters, I don't know if that's bad to lay them down, but to me, that's hazardous. I think contractors are putting stuff like that by our dumpsters for our people to pick up, and usually, what I see, there's one person per truck. How the heck does he pick up a huge hot water heater? Thank you very much at North Park. There had been trash there for months, couches. It looks like we don't take care of our stuff. And Mayor, White Mountain and Jack Little, the tires have been there. And I know that's from the flood cleanup, but still, it looks like we don't care. I feel like it's illegal dumping. I feel like that our people are taking advantage of us for us saying, okay, yes, we will pick up trash, but it's getting ridiculous. And I've tried to catch people. One day everything's clean, the next day it's all back again. So I would just like to tell people, remind people, some of it you can put in a dumpster, but take it to the dump.
They don't want to pay for it.
Then maybe we need to start charging more.
Well, the problem is, you got to catch them. I've called the police before, but if you don't see them drop it, and even if I see them, it's my word against theirs.
I know it.
And we've tried that, and
It just
our
looks
staff is picking
so
up stuff. We got the pickers, what do you call them? The grapple trucks, 3 of them working all day, every day to get stuff, and it just is constantly going around picking stuff up.
It's not just this kind of stuff. Then they start pouring boards and construction stuff down. And I would just like to remind people, we offer this service, but
Well, they pay, it's figured in your water bill
I
to
know
pick up
it is.
pine needles, but not couches, not water heaters.
mattresses, tires everywhere. Now, they stack them very neatly, but we're not we don't pick the tires up. And so I would just ask people to be a little more considerate, because I think it looks very trashy.
No, you're absolutely right.
And so, I mean, I applaud us for picking up pine needles and for our bear mess people to go along and pick this stuff up. But it's getting ridiculous. And I think that's all.
And your proposal is
I know.
a whipping bar, if we catch them?
I
mean, I would love to figure out something.
And
But you need to talk to the chief, because we're changing our fines, fees, and penalties. Because, with the AOC changing, taking away where we could charge fines because it was unconstitutional because of poor people. But we're looking at reevaluating those. We need to make those fines real stiff. And we've even submitted about maybe putting cameras, like the one down in the county that catches the illegal dumpers down there, and do what we got to do. And then we've got these cameras that we're going to talk about here in a little bit to do. So we're going to have technology help us out on some of this stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. We all get tired of it. Okay. Mayor Pro Tem?
Well, thank you. And yes, Councilor Letterman, that is illegal dumping. And I think we have it in the ordinance as far as in the littering nuisance fine, but the mayor's correct. The officer has to catch them in the act of doing that. Because I used to get that always in my neighborhood until Cedar Creek burnt up. And at least even the household trash, they would bring it into our dumpsters on Morgan Drive. Mayor, thank you. And yes, I echo Councilor Eby's report of all the activities that have been happening and going on forward to November. But one thing I wanted to point out that was a concern for me way back in the springtime, even last year, when we were talking about emptying out the east tank at Grindstone Hill, 5 million gallons, and just using the one. And that was, peak fire season, our water supply. But what I commend the water production department for doing is that they maintain that tank full. And also, I'd like to acknowledge the public for conserving water and the water conservation. Because as I looked at the report for today on the west tank, it is at 56.9 feet, which it's a 60-foot tank, filled, and the overflow is 57.8. I looked back in April, pretty much the same. It was like 55, and of course overflows 57. So the production side kept up with the residents' demand is what I was getting at. So I hopped over to Grindstone as well, because we just got the 3 million gallon tank. Same scenario there, maybe 5 foot difference to the overflow. So that's one thing that I just want to encourage the public to continue with the conservation and just all the strategies that have been placed over the decades of low flow toilets, washers, the little streaming on the sink faucets and stuff. So we're keeping up with that. Yes, patriotic in honor of the veterans, to honor them tomorrow. I encourage everyone to go down to the senior center at 10:30. I believe it's the American Legion group that orchestrates that. Is that correct or no?
Donnie Klein.
Donnie Klein,
Yeah,
VFW.
VFW? Okay. Well, that's always a good event to go there and then have lunch while you're there. It's an honor to do that and salute our veterans that have served and continue to serve. So with that, Mayor, we have lots of activities coming up. Thank you for the mixer that would honor our volunteers. I want to emphasize that. Volunteers that serve on all our various boards. That does take a lot of time with the different committees that we have. And yes, that's a good way to honor them at the end of the year.
And we appreciate all the vendors and people that donate.
Yes, the sponsors that go into that and stuff. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Your turn, sir.
Speaking of events, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the greeters are having their annual Christmas Jubilee. I don't think a lot of people know that the proceeds from that event are donated back to various charities. I could be wrong, but I think they said they donated back 25,000 last year. So it's a great event. Most of the vendors are local, so it's a way to support our local businesses. The only other item I have, I've gotten a couple of calls since our last meeting about streets. And I know we approved a $2 million project last meeting. I know we've got a number of street projects for discussion today. I would encourage if we could possibly craft a press release that really underscores what's going on. I had someone in White Mountain Meadows that was very frustrated. She was unaware that that's slated for repavement. So, you know, if we could broadcast what streets are scheduled for repavement. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. I know, is this part of what you did, Mr. Dukes, on the Everest Drive, Sandia Drive, Olympia Drive, Sequoia Drive, Tonto Drive, Whitney Drive, K-Bab, Maple, Ash, South Oak Drive, Johnson Road, Slay Road, Sleepy Hollow, Hummingbird, Forest Road, of course, the one that you just mentioned. There's about 27 roads that are on there. We need to make them as public as we can. So if we can get that back out somehow, just to let people know what's coming. And unfortunately, when the weather turns cold, it's going to put everything.
Square one.
Yeah, and so, anyway, appreciate Mr. Dukes putting all that list together so we can see that, but we need to try to get that out for others to do. And I know we drove through Grindstone over to, and it's a total mess. Fern Drive, that is, I mean, it's terrible, and there's a lot of reasons why we haven't been able to get to it. ROE, the possible buyout program, that if you do the PPDR, you may not be eligible for the funding later, and so it's all held up in legalities. And meantime, people are still suffering through it. You know, we have these meetings all the time, but hopefully if the government gets open, we'll be able to get some little more conversation both ways. So anyway, I do feel for those folks over there. It's a mess. It really is. So, okay, and then
Got Jackson and Hooker online.
oh yeah, Jackson, I forgot. Would you like to say anything?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one, and it's been said twice before, but it is a sincere shout out to the veterans and to their families for all that they've given and for those that have given their full measure of devotion. And that does it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you for your service there, Jackson. We appreciate you. And we thank you for your service, Hooker. So it's your turn, buddy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All I want to say is your Monday with the Mayor continues, albeit comedic, to put out some great information. And I think if people would continue to chime in on that, listen to it, whether it not be live or later, there is a lot of information that goes out, and you can unearth those questions you have, those concerns about, oh, well, I heard this and I heard that. Well, you can actually call in, you can send in a message and get that answer. So again, thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have. God bless America.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And we are handling the aggressive dog situation that got a hold of Archie and messed his ear up. And then attacked my dog. So we're working with to extricate that animal and the owner. Next, we'll move into public hearings that Chris Muirhead's been waiting very diligently, sporting his new goat. Are you had that for a while?
You know, I think it's noticeable because it's a lot
Grayer, it is. It is grayer, yeah. Look from here, look like a Fu Manchu-ish almost. Public hearing for ordinance 2025, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the Village of Ruidoso, New Mexico General Obligation GO Bond Series 2025 in the aggregate principal amount of $1,500,000, no cents, for the purpose to enlarge, improve, and/or extend the production and distribution components of the village's water system, providing that Series 2025 bonds will be payable from ad valorem taxes levied on all taxable property within the village. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This is a bond ordinance to approve the latest issuance of the village's ongoing GO bond program, which started in 2013. And since then, every year, the village issues 1.5 million of voter-approved bonds for water system improvements. Every 2 years, you go out to the voters and ask for their support at $3 million for 2 issuances over the next 2 years. So this is a second installment from the March 2024 election, $1.5 million. It is meant to be paid out over 12 years. The key thing is, because it is this bond program, an existing debt, it incorporates into the existing debt service for the outstanding GO bonds with the anticipation that it will not increase anybody's debt service mill levy. So it should be stable and level as it has been over the years. It is for the water system improvements. The financial advisor for the village, Southwest Securities or Hilltop Securities, George Williford, has sent out a request for bids. We should get those here next week and then award the winning bid on the 24th. So this ordinance authorizes parameters, 1.5 million, not to exceed 10%. It's going to be well below that for up to 13 years. Once the bids are received and the winner selected based on the lowest interest cost, the mayor or city manager or Judy as finance director will accept that award. It will move toward closing December 17th, and those funds will be available. It is property taxes, but a general full faith and credit pledge of the village.
Any increase to the taxpayer?
No. It is structured so that the mill levies remain steady, and as debt falls off, new debt steps in. And so it's been a successful program for the village over the last 12 years.
Since 12 years. And we will have the new question on the 2026 ballot in March.
Yes.
To renew it for 2 more years.
And this really is a success, and you see the communities that do it. Once you have established positive programs that they see the results, they don't see their taxes going up, it's like, okay, let's just keep this going. And so that's really the sweet spot where that's happening now. Happy to answer any questions about that or anything else related to your.
But we've employed these with Pine Cliff and, well, CBDG, but other, where we replaced whole water lines, getting rid of the AC pipe, the asbestos concrete and the galvanized and all of that, so.
And our voters have been very supportive.
Totally.
Oh, yes.
And that's why we need to make sure that we get these jobs completed and let people know that we've got them done.
And Mayor and Council, we've also been able to match, as a matching source on the Water Trust Board funds also. grants, so.
So you're able to stack that money.
Yeah, and I would just, as Mayor, what you just said, it's important, don't be shy about, congratulating success of the projects that are done, so people they see it, but just to really hit home, whether it's a mayor show or whatever else, that this stuff's getting done.
Right.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Okay, this is a public meeting, so at this time, I'll open it up if there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this, about it, for, against, or anybody in the World Wide Web, the millions, my God, watching around the world. It's amazing. At this time, is there anybody out there that would like to say anything? Anybody online, Yvonne? Okay, we'll close the public portion, and I would entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move approval of ordinance 2025-06, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the Village of Ruidoso, New Mexico General Obligation Bonds Series 2025 in the aggregate principal amount of $1,500,000 for the purpose to enlarge, improve, and/or extend the production and distribution components of the village's water system, providing that the Series 2025 bonds will be payable from ad valorem taxes levied on all taxable property within the village.
Second.
Any final discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
All right, thank you,
right.
folks.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Mayor.
Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Sorry we held you up.
Oh, no, I like listening. It's all good.
Okay, good. Item number 2, public hearing for application submitted by Pay and Save, Inc., located at 304 Meacham Drive, Ruidoso, New Mexico, for transfer of ownership of liquor license DIS-000220 from Ronnie Holt, personal representative of the estate of William Glenn Holt, to Pay and Save, Inc.
So this is a transfer of ownership for a liquor license. We received it on October 7th. It is a off-premises consumption only from Ronnie Holt, personal representative of the estate of William Glenn Holt, to Pay and Save DBA Lowe's Number 7, located at 304 Meacham Drive. It was published twice, once in the Albuquerque Journal and once in the Ruidoso News, and we haven't received anything for or against it. I do have the attorney on speakerphone right now if you have any questions for him.
So the attorney is,
He's right here on my phone.
oh, he's right there on your phone. Okay, so, does anybody have any questions for the attorney?
No.
So is this the Lowe's grocery store?
Yes, this is Lowe's Grocery Store.
So that, is Pay and Save Lowe's?
They're doing business as Lowe's.
Okay,
Mr.
excellent,
Rhodes,
'cause
could you
it's-
explain that?
Certainly. Pay and Save they do business as Lowe's. It's always been Pay and Save, but they have never used that as their trade name. They have always done business as Lowe. All their locations are known as Lowe's. And if I might give a very short explanation of the background, they have been leasing the liquor license from Mr. Holt.
Yes.
And when Mr. Holt died, his widow elected to simply sell them the license. So what the Alcohol and Gaming Division did was they had Mr. Holt's estate probated, which is why Lonnie is the personal representative. He's Mr. Holt's brother. And then once Lonnie became the personal representative, Mr. Holt's widow, through the personal representative, elected to sell the license.
Okay. Excellent, because it's a beautiful store. I really love it, everything that's been done. Does anybody have any questions, comments to them? Okay. It's a public meeting, so is there anybody here or on the internet that would like to speak for or against? Anything, Yvonne?
No, sir.
Okay, we don't have anything. We'll close the public portion. I'd entertain a motion, please.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the application submitted by Pay and Save Incorporated, located at 304 Meacham Drive, Ruidoso, New Mexico, for transfer of ownership of liquor license DIS-000220 from Ronnie Holt, personal representative of the estate of William Glenn Holt, to Pay and Save Incorporated.
Second.
Okay, discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Solis?
Aye.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations, thank you.
Thank you, and I wanted to thank Misty Hill. She was extremely professional.
Well, that's nice to hear because she's on the fence half the time with us. Appreciate it. We'll move on to, and I was just kidding about Avon. Don't anybody get upset. Item number 3, public hearing for proposed ordinance 2025-07, an ordinance of automated speed enforcement within the village of Ruidoso. Chief Minner? We alluded to it a little earlier.
Good afternoon again. So this was the ordinance that had to go into place prior to starting any automated speed enforcement program. We put the RFP out, but we needed to have the ordinance in place, basically lining out how the program would work.
And so how does, you want to give a brief description on how it's going to work?
So, not knowing the specifics with every company, we put the scope of work out to, generally, it'll be, as the company presented before at one of the meetings, the camera systems would go out. The company's responsible for placing them and actually putting up the signage for that. Once they're out, the camera then captures the violation. That information is relayed to the company, who does a cursory review to make sure it's an enforceable violation, whether that be, we can read the license plate, it has a license plate, just verifies that information. Then it comes to our department for verification one more time. We look at it and say, yes, this is, again, a enforceable violation, and then we let the company know. They then, in turn, send out a civil citation to the registered owner of the vehicle. Now, because people drive other people's vehicles, there is a provision in the ordinance that says basically, if that is your vehicle and you state that you are not the driver of the vehicle at that point in time, it allows you the opportunity to nominate who the driver of the vehicle was, and then that person would then get the citation if you choose to do that. But it's a sworn affidavit stating that this is the driver of the vehicle, and then they would then in turn get the citation. The citation, again, being a civil citation, it doesn't impact your driving record. It doesn't take points off of your license. Basically, it's a citation that if you fail to pay it, it then goes to collections.
It's like $100.
$100.
And Chief, how much of that goes to the village?
So the $100 citation, $25 of that, per this company that we had talked to, again, the details would be different with a different company. The program itself, we don't pay for. We don't pay for the equipment. We don't pay for anything else. $25 out of that goes directly to the company to pay for the program and the equipment. And then through the research in doing this, per state statute, so all of the $75 that we do keep, all the revenue that the village makes off of that, we can hold whatever the maintenance and for the program is. So if we have to, say, hire a hearing officer, if somebody wants to contest it and they want to have a hearing, then that money we will pull aside. Anything else that it costs to maintain that program, we pull out. The remainder of the revenue that comes in, 50% goes to the state and 50% stays with us. And then in turn, that money could then be used for any traffic safety initiative the village sees appropriate.
Sure. Chief, I sincerely appreciate you thinking outside the box and trying to address a problem we have, as do all other communities. My concern is this, in my mind, is a little Orwellian, Big Brother. But I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. So, and I did want to emphasize too, I know it's been in the news quite a bit, especially Albuquerque. The question was raised, well, what about all the citations that people aren't paying? We've got hundreds of citations, and yes, they go to collections, and that does impact somebody's credit. But if they choose that they don't care, then that's that's their business. But these are in no way to take the place of law enforcement being out there. It's to supplement what our traffic officers are out there doing every day anyways. They can't be everywhere all the time. So the push in this was, one, yes, I want to have one fixed in the school zone, especially on White Mountain. That would be a fixed speed monitor in that area. And then up to two more that we can move within the village on problem roads as seen appropriate. Whether that be Junction at some point in time, whether that be, Meander's got speed bumps now, but, in the past, we could have moved it to Meander and move those maybe on a monthly basis.
What about if I say, I noticed here where I can say, well, I don't want to pay the $100, but I'll do some stuff for the village.
So
I'll volunteer.
part of the ordinance that was supposed to have been taken out from Bernalillo County was that Bernalillo County does a community service program, but that we weren't doing that. Obviously, that's a possibility that they have. I know they have access to more resources, and the availability to do that.
That's what it says here, though.
Is that so?
I drafted it according to what was given to me.
Okay, so the draft that was not supposed to have a community service portion in it.
You mean you make the motion to change it?
I will make a motion to change that.
Well,
That was-
we'll need to, after we have public discussion, we'll need one of you guys to.
The idea was that I don't want to be taxing to anybody else in the village, to have to oversee.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Who's going to oversee all
Correct.
that?
I don't want to tax anybody else in the
Parks
village
and
to
Rec
oversee that.
does. I've had plenty of community service from traffic violations and stuff to come and do
And
their
I get it,
4
Michael.
hours, and that's where they rake up pine needles and stuff like that.
Well, we're gonna have to work that out with this company.
So, and it's, because I think the volume of this potentially, so this isn't a speed trap, this isn't a gotcha thing. There is signage that comes with it that they'll be responsible for putting out that basically warns people that they are entering a speed enforcement area. That has to be signed so that they know that. And then, so going into this, they're gonna be forewarned that this is a speed enforcement area. Should they go through there and incur a violation? I mean, there's a possibility that we could have a lot of people that want to take the community service option, and that was another reason why we just don't have the manpower to support that. And so that was one of those things that was to be stricken out of that in the final draft that was presented.
But you may get them, I do. I get multiple calls a week on Whole Road, White Mountain Drive, all of those people blowing through there. They've called me, I've sat over there and watched them. And, at what point does somebody get ran over? The delineators are still all up over there on the walking trail, but it'll just be a matter of time till they're taken out. We've had 2 cars roll over in that area.
Yep.
And so I know it's Orwellian. That's what I thought about when I got a ticket. It wasn't really a ticket. It was a fine from Dallas when I went through one of those deals a year later. And I thought I'd escaped, but they got me. So it's, one of those things I'd rather have to deal with this. And if it gets people to slow down, then we can always make changes.
And there is a provision in there that, we're not bound by, according to the presenter we had, we're only bound to the contract, if you will, for as long as we wish to be a part of it. If we don't get any violations in that time, we're still not responsible to them for any money. But just as a point of reference, out of my own curiosity, we did go through Meander and put the speed bumps in a while back. So I had Chris go out and reset the traffic monitors again, just to see how that was going to affect things. For that week that they were out there, I can tell you that the numbers dramatically reduced. People are not taking that roadway as much. But I still registered speeds on a couple of them as high as 60 miles an hour.
With those speed bumps?
With the speed bumps.
Ah,
So
goodness.
my guess is that they're speeding up to them, hitting the brakes,
Flying.
going over, and then they're speeding again away from them. To curb the speeding portion of it, it did reduce the number of vehicles going down the roadway, but it's not going to be the end of, and there's no end to stopping people from speeding. If they're gonna speed, they're gonna speed. And it may be just one person, but, we can try to supplement this as much as possible.
And I know we get requests all over town for speed bumps. And
Yeah, I get them a lot. So that's the reason for the public hearing next
Yep.
month on changing the fees, right, of the speeding. Because my question on that is, in our ordinance now, we have parameters. If you're 11 miles over, it's this fee. And it just progresses to like $250 if you're like 25 or 50 miles over the speed limit. How does that factor in?
So again, with the automated speed enforcement, that's just a civil citation, so that's completely sole and separate, and that would be prescribed in this ordinance. Now, I am working with Ms. Jenny on going through the uniform traffic ordinance to go through it and obviously look at the things that there's some duplicate items in there that we need to address and clean up, but to readdress the fines in there. Since the state went through and pulled the court fees from us.
Right.
So you're correct in that a 0 to 10 mile an hour over the speed limit citation right now is $24. There's not much penalty to a 24.
Right.
I mean, people are like, okay, well, can I just pay that right now? It's kind of the attitude that they have, whereas before it was, I believe, $59. So there was a little more bite to it at that point in time. So we're going through and readdressing the fees and penalties for the uniform traffic ordinance. Now, what that means is now my officers are, again, this is to supplement what the officers are doing. If they go out and they catch you speeding, you're going to get the other, you're going to get that one. And so then there will be increasing penalties for, the different speed violations. Also to correct that we did not have enumerated in the ordinance the verbiage for for school zones. It was just a double fine zone for construction and any other double fine zone, but it did not specifically say school zone. So we were adding the verbiage of school zone in that so that it will be a double fine zone also.
Okay.
So that the 0 to 10 will be more than normal or whatever the speed is.
So to touch on what Rifle was saying, because that was kind of came across my mind, what would happen if somebody, they do reckless driving speed, which is, 25 miles over the speed limit?
So reckless driving, yes. Reckless has to have an element of a high speed to it, not necessarily specifically prescribed, but it just has to be a high speed. But what that does is, if we get you on that, yes, in the uniform traffic ordinance, you will pay the higher penalty for that. And then criminally, there is the criminal side of reckless driving itself that we can charge as well.
Okay, but just being caught by the camera, if they were doing, it's good to me, 60 mile an hour on Meander, that's reckless.
So the speed camera itself doesn't differentiate. It's a flat $100 fee if you're caught by the speed camera. So it doesn't escalate depending on the speed. It's just, you're gonna get a $100 citation if you go through there at 11 over, or, however we set that up, but 11 over or 25 over. So, but then again, that then comes into where I can put officers out there at certain times to help catch those as well. And we will have access to the analytics through this program. Also, we can pull the analytics on it, see how many vehicles, what the speeds are, similar to what we do with the traffic monitors now.
except for you know what they'll look like.
Except for we'll know what their license plate and vehicle descriptions are.
Yeah.
Well, I know we need to do something, because we've had many people come into the council meeting talking about all the different streets, Grindstone, Country
Junction.
Club, all these roads. And they're all saying somebody's gonna get killed one of these days, and they do need to slow down the whole road where that one gentleman got airborne, hit the tree.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Chief, does it have the ability, I think you said it, but to set it, would it be 1 mile over and it's an automatic fine, or you could set it for 5 over, 6 over?
We'll have discretion to set it. I believe the only one that's actually dictated by state statute is the one that we put in the school zone. That's the only one that's dictated by state statute. But in all fairness to everybody else, I mean, we would come up with whatever the common practice is for setting those for the overage.
And is there a clause in there or anything that covers government vehicles village, county, state?
And forward-looking, so what the program, when it initially goes to the company, when they do a cursory review of the violation, we can tell them, anybody that's running, and you see emergency lights on a vehicle, that won't apply. So specifically though, like red and blue, right? You've got fire trucks, you've got law enforcement that are going through there. For village vehicles, that's going to be something that may be addressed in policy at a later date, that if somebody's driving a village vehicle and you go through there and you get a citation, how we're going to address that. That's a policy issue that we can look at, because quite frankly, I've had complaints of village vehicles speeding as well.
Yeah, because that's why I asked. That's going to happen. And I think our constituents would be concerned if we had a policy or a clause that said, oh, well, they're in a village vehicle, so we'll handle it administratively. They're going to say, wait a minute, you didn't give me an opportunity to handle it administratively. I'm paying $100. Why isn't that person?
And I think that's in that policy portion, that may be where the village has to say, you get a civil citation in a village vehicle, you're paying that citation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we can do that per policy. And we can address it that way. Yes, sir, Counselor.
As a state policeman told me many decades ago, we ticket the driver, not the vehicle.
That's correct.
So, one of those Santa Fe trips.
Oh.
So do we need to change if we don't want the public service portion of this in the RFP? Or
in the ordinance?
In the ordinance?
The community service?
Yes. I mean, do we have that ability? I mean, we used to use the teen court to do graffiti, and like we had several of the nice murals that were graffitied that the business owner had to pay to have it fixed. And then we've had the one down there, we're trying to get the owner to do stuff and we're having to go through the process. So is that something that's even, I don't know the contract, the way I read it, it's like they operate off of fines and whatever, so it would stipulate to me that there is no community service, but I could be wrong.
So as they had stated before, that even if we had a month with 0 citations, we're still not being charged for any part of the program. So there is the ability to do that. Like I said, I just don't know if we have the manpower to be able to support something like that.
Yeah, well, you have to come up with the job. The businesses have to buy the paint and the paint brushes and all of that. If it's something like that, or clean up or whatever, and then keeping track of them, I don't want no part of that.
Right. And so that was the reason that I was moving to take that part out of the ordinance so that we didn't have to try and support that function.
So does your department have the authority to move the equipment around, or do you have to call the company to do that?
So the company would actually move it, so they would be responsible for coming down and moving the equipment and then setting it up, doing all the checks that they need to do, and then also taking care of the signage in conjunction with our streets department. But they would be the ones to move them on the mobile ones. Now, the fixed ones would stay, and we wouldn't have to move those if we went with a fixed program.
Okay, I was just thinking of that because you might want to put them in different places during special events and such like that.
Certainly, and if we went a month and we didn't have any roadways of any interest, we can always put one on 70. I mean, we can put one on 48. They come into town on 48. A lot of people come into town exceeding the speed limit. So it's not limited. We can scale the program as big or as little as we want. Obviously, we don't want a city full of speed cameras. So it does give us the opportunity. And so my recommendation was one fixed in the school zone on White Mountain, and then maybe 2 of them outside of that we could use as mobile devices and move them around. And by this one company, we're fixed to a month at a time. So we could put it on one roadway for a month. And if we have 2 of them, we can alternate, and then a month later, we can move those 2 around and just kind of hit different areas throughout town.
So, I can't wait till they hit Tracy up on her bicycle speeding down the road. So do we need to, out of section H, number 1, violation constitutes a civil infraction punishable by a fine of $100, stop and wipe out, or completion of 4 hours of community service?
That's what you were wanting, right?
And then 2, violator may elect service to the village as an alternative payment of fines. Strike it?
And that's where I saw the county listed on there that forgot to get corrected.
Right.
Just take out that whole number 2.
Anybody want to comment?
Yeah, strike it.
Okay, so need a motion to, I just lost my page, I hit the wrong button.
Does somebody, are we in the public?
Well,
Mr. Mayor, this is Jackson, just by clarification then, you want approval of the ordinance with a caveat added to the motion to strike H2. Is that correct?
Part of H1 under penalties, it says on page 3 of 5, under penalty, it says H, number 1, a violation constitutes a civil infraction punishable by a fine of $100 or completion of 4 hours of community service. I think if we strike the or completion.
Right.
And then on item number 2, just strike the entire thing because it says they may elect to service to the village, and then at the discretion of the village manager, and the nature of the services that may or may not be performed, and all of that other stuff. That's just a lot of extra work, and we're just trying to get people to slow down.
Right.
So that's what I would be asking at this time, but I can open it up to the public if we would like to discuss it. So at this point, I would like to open it up to the public, and if you have a comment, they don't need to be sworn in, do they? Do they?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, come on, stand up, Bill, and come down to the front and state your name, and then the lawyer, the attorney will swear you in. Tell the whole truth.
Bill Hall, you know me.
Mayor, as I think about it, on these types of hearings, you don't just swear them in.
Okay, no swearing in.
Only thing I would say is, it's a civil penalty, it's not a traffic
Correct.
penalty.
We made that clear.
So it's a civil penalty. Question is, $100 is way too low. You want to get people's attention, you want to change their behavior, start it at 500. That'll get people's attention.
Do we have that ability? I mean, what's the deal with the company? I just saw the language.
No, that's what I'm saying, $100, you're not gonna change people's behavior. If the idea is to get people to slow down, and they have to suddenly realize, oh, this is a $500 fine, they're gonna slow down. Take it from someone who used to have a lead foot, get 3 speeding tickets in 5 years and see what your insurance does.
Oh, yeah.
You change your behavior. $100 isn't gonna change your behavior.
And these are civil, so they don't go to
Civil,
the
they're
ticket. It's just,
That's what I'm saying, just make it painful. That's all I wanted to say.
thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay, we open that up. Is there anybody else that would like to speak to that or anything about it? You got anybody online? Okay, we'll close the public portion. Now I entertain a discussion on what we mentioned too on the penalties and a discussion on raising it. If we do, we have that. There's no reason why we couldn't, I don't think.
I don't think there's anything that says, I'd have to research the statute again because I don't remember if it specifically says in there, but I think the common practice at least is $100.
I'd like to ask a question. The gentleman that's online representing the company, if I could ask him, what's his experience been with the effectiveness of the program at $100? Have you seen other communities that have had differing rates?
I don't think there's anybody on there, is there?
No, he's
No,
not there anymore?
I didn't see one.
He was earlier.
Oh, and if he was on there, I don't know. I didn't know if, I hadn't had any conversation with him about whether or not they were going to attend.
I thought the gentleman representing the company was on there.
No.
He had presented to us in the past, I know, so that, if that was the confusion, I might have misstated that. He had presented to us in the past.
Okay, had he mentioned to you anything as far as fines and the effectiveness of?
On the effectiveness of the cameras themselves?
And the $100.
And $100. So I think speaking to the $100, or just the program in general, and I think, like I said, I think common practice is the $100 citation. But he had statistical information about how much it had reduced. And I would misquote him if I gave the numbers, but he had statistical data to show the reduction in speeding in those areas where they had the speed cameras.
Chief, does your incoming deputy chief have any information where if he worked in Albuquerque, they had the cameras at the time, any You want to come on up?
On up.
So I think one of the questions before was in regards to the community service, and I think that BCSO and APD have had headaches with trying to catch up with the community service people. You know, trying to track them down, you have to put a lot of manpower kind of to track people down and get that done. I think I really like the idea of having the one fixed and the mobiles. I think in Albuquerque, we had a lot of success with the mobile cameras. More the ALPRs, the automated license plate readers. But having the ability to move the cameras around, I think, is very effective because people become creatures of habit. And if you keep going through the same spot and knowing that there's a camera there, you are going to get people to slow down. But once they pass that camera, you're gonna probably see them speed up. So the fact of having movable cameras, I think, is a very smart idea. Only because you're gonna have festivals, you're gonna have peak moments in Rio Doso when you have a lot of people coming into the town for vacationing and that. So I think it's very logical to have movable platforms. But the community service, I'm glad you guys kind of caught on to that right away. There's a lot of manpower that goes into that. It may be just an individual or two, but they're constantly trying to track down individuals to try and do community service. And then on the other side, you're gonna probably have people that are gonna wanna fight it, so you're gonna have to have the administrative magistrate, deal with that. As to the fine, I think the $100 fine works. If something might be able to be worked in from the 6 to 10 mile per hour thing at a lower level, I think that you'll see people starting to realize that the village is actually looking at, looking at it from a kind of outside the box, seeing that, a 6 mile an hour as opposed to a 25 mile an hour at $100 can have a kind of a negative look to it. People may look at that as an excessive if you're only 6 to 10 miles an hour over. But I do believe that even with a $25 fine, it would definitely make an impact on people if you're constantly getting these fines. Like the gentleman had stated earlier, when it's criminal in nature and it goes on your driving record, you start to have repercussions with your insurance. If you're collecting these fines, you start to look at it and you start to change your behavior. So that's pretty much what I have on the speeding cameras. If you're having issues where someone was talking about a new baseball field, having a camera in that area on days that they're having baseball games, slow it down for the amount of kids and the amount of pedestrians that are going to be crossing the street. I think it's a smart idea to have, to do that. So maybe, I don't know if this company in particular, but I do know in Albuquerque, and BCSO, usually the first time through or the first 1 or 2 times through, they'll give you kind of a warning and send out a messaging saying, hey, you were clocked at this amount of speed by this camera. If you continue and you get another one of these, this is what your fine will be. So just some.
So to be clear, you think $100 was making a difference?
So yeah. So the $100 fines, definitely. I do think there's a lot of pushback from the community, particularly in my experience with APD and Chicago, that when you're getting a $100 fine for that 6 to 10 miles an hour, as opposed to those 25 miles an hour, I think you get a little bit of pushback on that. Getting a $100 fine, I think, wakes everybody up. That hits everybody in the pocketbook when you see a $100 fine, so.
Well, I know when we were buying a house, I had a $20 hickey on my credit from the hospital that I didn't even up $20.
Yeah.
And it caused a big row just on my credit, $20. So that's what's going to happen is people elect not to pay it. It ends up getting a judgment going on their credit. I don't know, I think, believe me, I'm tired of speeders, I'm tired of dealing with it. $500, if I thought it would make a big difference, but I think that's where we're gonna have a lot of issues of excessive, they would think.
I do believe, though, the fact that you can move them around, I think that the village will see a very positive reaction to the cameras, because it will, the ability to move it around. Different areas will probably have different speeding problems at different times and at different dates. So the ability and knowing those locations and getting to know those locations is just working with the traffic officers that specialize in traffic, and we'll be able to move them around and put them in the right spots. And I really, I can't stress it enough, the having the mobility on any type of those cameras in law enforcement kind of increases the value of them exponentially, only because we can kind of have that control over it. Now, I know there's a process with the signage, and it's important that you have that signage. That's what they do in Albuquerque and in Bernalillo County, that the signs are up, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're in a section where there's cameras. You're giving the public forewarning that the cameras are out there. So
I see the kids running up and down, seeing how fast they can break the speed limit.
And he brought up a good point. Part of the RFP process and the scope of work that we'd put out there was there is a public education portion of this where the company is going to come in, and yes, they're going to set them up in these areas. And for the short while that we start this program, they're going to get warnings and say, hey, look, you were speeding in this. Once this program goes live, this would have been a citation. And having the ability to move those, you know, we move them over. Like he says, Junction is a good example of this, right? Everybody speeds down Junction, so we put the cameras over there. Well, now they decide to come all the way down and come up Cedrith. And a month later, we move those. They go, oh, they're not on Junction anymore. Well, then I put an officer over there, because you'll just never know where people are going to be at.
Yep.
And it's just to keep people honest. I mean, they're going to go around them, but then we move them, and then we can. And like I said, it's just to supplement the traffic officers.
Right.
How long will it take the company, like you were just talking about, we're having a function, how long is it going to take that company to come in and put that camera?
If we're doing this right, we'll pre-plan ahead so that we'll tell them that, you know, we want to have this moved by this date. So they allow us one move per month. So if we know we've got something coming up where we want to place it someplace specific for that reason, then we'll plan out what the best location for that is, because it'll be there for a month. But we'll plan it out ahead of time so that we can have that put in prior to the event, and then it'll just be there for that and for however long afterwards.
So you also said the school zone on White Mountain?
Yes.
So that's not going to incorporate White Mountain, just at the school zone?
That will be just in the school zone, so, and that's the one that I said was dictated by statute about how far over the speed limit you can start citing for. But with the mobile ones, you're correct. So, right, we back it up and we put one down by Station 2. So now they all go through the school zone. Okay, we're good, we're clear. Then they take off and
That's
start
the
speeding
problem
again.
right there.
Then at Station 2 or LL Davis or somewhere in there, we've got the mobile one that we can set up and basically catch all of White Mountain.
Okay.
It's smart about having a mobile, expect the unexpected type of thing, so.
Y'all are looking more alike all the time.
I like his haircut.
No kidding.
That's a factor.
Okay, I think we have enough information, so we've closed the public portion, but I would entertain a motion, and I'd proffer one that we just, under H penalty, we stop it at violation constitute a civil infraction punishable by a fine of $100. Strike everything in two. So is there any, can we get a motion to that effect?
You're still muted, Dr. Jackson.
No. Jackson?
He's muted. There we go. Mr. Mayor, I move to approve that ordinance 2025-07 automated speed enforcement ordinance with the Village of Ruidoso with the caveats as presented under line item H. 1, striking under number 1, everything that, after the $100 fine, so that it rereads, a violation constitutes a civil infraction punishable by a fine of $100, period, and that and item H2 be struck completely.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. Any final discussion? Lawyer, you good with that?
I am.
Okay, roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson,
Aye.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Corey,
No.
Counselor Salas,
No.
Counselor Letterman,
No.
Counselor Eby,
Aye.
So what is the count? 3 to 3?
3 and 3.
Aye.
Okay, Mayor, aye. Okay,
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, so under regular items, we have one. Item number 1, discussion and possible action on task order number 2024-003P-09 with Bohannon Houston, Inc. for professional engineering services on flood-damaged infrastructure that includes restoration and improvements of local paved roadways, local all-weather roadways, gravel roads, paved and all-weather driveways, culverts, embankments, erosion control measures, and retaining wall in the amount of $611,330.78, including New Mexico GRT. Yes.
Mayor, Council, I have Logan here with Bohannon as well as Dennis Dukes, our FEMA consultant.
Duke Engineering.
Yes, sir. So they're here to talk about this project. So what this is, it's a group of roads. They can go into more detail on exactly which roads we presented on last time, but it's the engineering, it's a task order for the engineering. I'll let Logan speak on that.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. So Dennis Dukes has put together this FEMA package that basically outlines all the damage and the restoration efforts that need to be included. So we at Bohannon Houston have put together a proposal and fee to scope out this work, to present it in a bid package for contractors to be able to bid on the work and build it. And we will probably be putting together 3 to 4 different bid packages to try to give it some competitive edge. But the intent would be to have those packages ready, I think, by the end of July of next year.
Levi, how were these 27 streets picked?
Dennis, you could probably speak more on that. He decided that.
Mayor and Councilman Corey, the streets were picked just by the way that they were grouped in the FEMA projects. We've already gone through all the other roadways. These are the remaining projects that have not gone to engineering, and they were grouped together almost similar to the quantity as previous projects, having 27 roads on them, but it's damaged sites in those roads, not the entire road. But they were picked just by the way they were formed.
So it's just the damaged area?
Correct.
And Levi, Michael, what about Main Road? Where are we at on that?
So Mayor and Council, and we can kind of talk independently of those, but just high level, really quick on these projects. These are the submitted projects that we group together by area, just so everyone's familiar with what we're looking at. So when you talk about Upper Canyon, you may get a certain area of streets, culverts, roads that have been damaged, and then it shifts over to Brady, and then it shifts over to Main, and then it shifts over to those areas. So portions of Main Road may be included in certain packages. Portions of other roads may be included in other packages. So just depending on how the grouping occurred is what was submitted. Dennis can talk to more detail of what part of Main Road was submitted into this package, but just so you know, it's the 27 total packages. So when we talk about packages and FEMA packages, you're talking about 27 groupings of streets, culverts, and other public assistance items that need to get paid for, just so everyone has that kind of 50,000 foot level.
Okay, Michael, I'm confused because Main Road's not on here.
It may not be included in this specific package.
Okay.
So that's why I said that when we have that grouping, it just depends on where it's at. So, and again, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with what's in this exact package, but Maine may not be included, so.
Now, is this in addition to the 29 that was obligated by FEMA before? So this is more, we had 29 original
Yeah.
that had roads and culverts. This is 27 additional ones.
Okay.
So I don't remember if Main Road was in the first one or not.
I believe Main Road was in the first one, but I think there was two that had been approved previously, and
Okay.
Main Road, I believe, was in the first one.
Okay, that's my oversight.
And Mayor and in council, these projects that are in this package here have been obligated. So this is what, the third one that we've submitted to Bohannon Houston. All these projects have all been obligated. As I mentioned, it's portions of roadways, culverts, et cetera, just around those different areas. But like Dennis was saying, he did the damage assessment, he worked with FEMA on it, and he had to lobby for these projects, and then they're submitted to FEMA, and then we approve them, and then they obligate them.
So, Ron, this is the engineering part.
Correct. Yes, this is only the engineering.
Have a funding source to do the
Well,
actual.
we've got SB 31 money, 21.5.
So we can go out of that bucket?
That can go out of that bucket once they get this done.
Okay.
Yes.
So Mayor and councilors, what we'll do, this is a specific package that Logan and his team and Dennis were going to talk about. But what we can do overall is online, we have that kind of flow chart and then that spreadsheet of all of the packages that are put together. We'll refine that so that every time we come to council, you'll have a better update of what project is in front of you, where it's at in the phase, and how much of the SB1 funding has been pulled down to go against it, so that you know where it's at.
But go into the length of time. That's what's so killer. They've had to go out and visually inspect all these, argue with FEMA, get it, send it up. We have to wait on, I forgot what section that was that FEMA had in it, that they had to go through the approval process. We've met that. I mean, this has taken a year and a half.
So when we say that when you hear our description, whether it's on the radio or in public meetings of that 3, 6, 9, 12, 16 months, this is that initial process that we took. You had one team that actually went out and took a look at it, which was Dennis's team. Then you had the state go out and do an inspection of what was actually part of that. Then you had a FEMA site inspector that had to go out. Once all of that was done and those 3 inspections occurred, there was a discussion of what actually qualified for those damages. Then it was submitted to the CRC group. The CRC group then reviewed it and said, either we agree or disagree. And usually it was a disagreement. They pushed it back. There was changes that had to be done. And then once those changes were finalized, that was the actual project that gets obligated. So once that, and again, we're at 9, 12, 16 months of, once they get obligated, it comes back to the village. We can then put that project out to bid. And so when it gets awarded to the engineer for design, they're putting those packages together. So Logan and his team won't even have this, you just said till next July, right, August? So the design component, so we just went through last year's award. Now the design won't actually happen till August. Once we get that back in August, then we can turn around and go out for construction. So you're really at almost 2 years before anything really happens. And we just want to make sure that people are aware of that. It is a very long process to get this point across.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
so do all this, and the work isn't being done, and it's gonna, so in August, when possibly we've already had several more floods come to, so then what does it do with these projects that have been obligated?
This is the fly in the ointment clause, so tell us how you're going to fix that.
Mayor, council, so that's definitely a concern. Elevations are going to change, and we have to get started at some point. You know, we're going to be dealing with this for 7 years. If we don't get started with the engineering, then we could be waiting for 7 more years to actually start the engineering. Now, that'll be something that we'll have to work with Bohannon on. They may have to come out, do additional survey, address, you know, plans and drawings to, you know, because I asked Ron that same question over the last week. I said, what happens when we do all this and then we get flooding again? You know, the scope may change.
And then and then it's the cascading event that nobody wants to deal with.
Yep.
So can I add to that? A good example is Perk Canyon Drive. It was damaged last year, and then this year during the monsoon season, additional damage occurred to it. Bohannon Houston already had that project task order approved, but when the floods happened this year, the additional damage was identified. FEMA was taken out there. We inspected the site and added 400 foot of the roadway to it. And we did that through an amendment with Bohannon. So I'm identifying all those times when even some of these roads that are approved in this package, or hopefully will be approved in this package, there's some additional damages being captured under the 2025 floods. And an amendment or addendum will be needed for that.
And Mayor and Council, I think the other piece that's important to note is that, let's say the design comes back, they capture the issues, but something else occurs, or the design that is brought back FEMA disagrees with to some degree. They can actually ask us to make corrections. We may need technical memos to justify what the design looks like. So, and Dennis, please correct us if we're wrong, but for the most part, you're allowed to replace what was in existence and make sure you have that there. Now, if there are issues or concerns, like our bridges, we use those as reference, where you need a technical memo or you need some other type of engineering to address those issues, that can occur. So that may be something that gets addressed in this design. As you all know, and we'll just use Perk Canyon as an example, not necessarily the package, Perk Canyon is now going to be a flood plain because of the amount of volume, the amount of water that's coming through there. So as those things get reviewed for engineering, designed, there may be changes. So just because the idea is that something comes back in August, or that we had a pre-existing piece of infrastructure there and it'll get replaced, there's still a back and forth that has to happen. So yes, ma'am, to your point, Counselor, there could be changes. There will probably be amendments, but there may be other issues that would have to be addressed as well.
Respectfully, it's a necessary evil.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Get it done, we got it.
Got to get started.
Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Go ahead, Hooker.
So again, I hope the guys sitting at the table understand this is not questioning them or their actions. It's merely ferreting out all the information because of our constituents that are going to say, well, how come this road and why not this road? It's to be able to explain every aspect of who, what, when, where, why, and how. Thank you.
Very much so. So out of the 611, 75% of that's paid by the feds. The other portion is paid by the local entity, which is going to be the state. We've been good enough. So this is where we get to pull down out of that 22 million. That, do we get the contract today?
You should have something in the email, Mayor,
We've
for
been
DocuSign.
lobbying.
Yes.
Our DFA lobbyist over here has done a good job of getting, since we couldn't get to the money when it was put in House Bill 1, Senate Bill 31 came into existence to try to alleviate that. Still some issues. Getting it moved over. It's been working with DFA for a long time. So we're supposed to have a contract today to sign that says we can start drawing down on that funding.
That would be great.
So again, if we can publicize things like this to show, you know, we're starting. Granted, we're not.
Okay. And we got to figure out where do we publicize, because we talk about it on the radio, it's on the website. Where do you?
Maybe the insider.
Mayor and Council, what we are doing is, as these projects come out, Carrie's putting those graphics together that basically is like a snapshot of what the projects are that are coming and when they're due. And so we're still pushing those out. So we'll make sure we put them in more locations as.
And some of these things that we're trying to do, like on the appreciation for all the volunteers, we're going to do a little quick deal on the biofuel plant. I think we need to put this kind of stuff out there. Every organization, when I go to Rotary, talk about it. You know, let people know, because I'm always shocked at the glaze over their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I had no idea you were doing all this. And it's like, do you listen to the radio? No. Do you? Well, we do this, but we don't do. And we've talked to Richard and Frank at the newspaper, and they'll put in there whatever we need. We just need to get it like 500 or words less.
And being on the Insider, that's another, well, we're looking for articles. That'd be a great article to have that.
For this $600,000 for your services, is the 22 million going to cover that?
No, the 457,000 the feds pay, and then the 25% is where we come out of the 22 million or 21.5.
Okay.
And
so that's that money.
Mayor and councilors, so any project that comes to you basically is going to be that 75-25% approach. All of that will be the state share for the local and the Fed share on the larger side.
So then we only have to pay 12 and the state pay 12?
No, we're not even paying that. What we've got is the 25% is going to be covered under the money that was allocated to appropriation for the 22 million that the village got. We actually got more, but we've got 22 set aside, and there's 21.5 of that left. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. And Mayor and councilors, the reason that all works out is we had initiated an agreement with DHSCM that any of the projects that were submitted would have gone through this CRC review, and they were all be eligible to be FEMA reimbursed projects. And so because of that, we basically pay nothing but that 0% interest loan, and then the state gets reimbursed on the back end once all these projects are complete.
But that's why it's taken so long, because we've had to go through every
FEMA,
agency.
every step,
to make sure that these projects are going to be.
He has to go out and look at the deal. You saw we had 3 different groups looking at it. Then they have to argue, are we going to do it or not do it? Because FEMA's like, that's not ours. We're not taking care of it. Dennis and the team have to argue on our behalf, and they've done a great job of closing that argument. A lot of the support that we've given them, the meetings that we go to showing support, that we're all behind this, and then these guys get them agreed to, we get them obligated, then we start getting the engineering, then I guess they'll have to review the engineering.
Yes.
Then we'll go out for contract to get a contractor, and then the floods. That's why it's very important that this watershed meetings that we've had, that we get, when the government gets back open, I know they're talking 3 to 5 years before they're going to do anything. We've got to push that along now so that we can get back open. But people don't understand the mess it is.
No, they don't.
And Mayor and Council, the other item to this, and not to muddy the waters even more, but it's a benefit with all of the engineers that are working together because they are utilizing some of the information that's already come out, whether it's the Cobb Finley H&H, whether it's other pieces. Those are their subcontractors. That's the data that they're utilizing. So we are actually building on information that we currently have. It's not being redone every single time.
Good point.
And it's great that we have the same DHSCM people here.
Yes.
I'm not going to speak about John anymore, but he's great. He knows he's worked with us since 2022 on the McBride fire. And then I know Jean was back for a while. I don't know if she's still here. She's still here. Jean's here, Bova, but working with the people that have been here that understand what's happened and what is continually going on, that understand the ramifications rather than a new FEMA person coming in, which we've had, that has said, no, I don't agree with any of this. The blowback is tremendous toward that individual. So we've got a new one in.
Yes, sir.
I haven't met him yet. Is it a he?
So we have a 2-week interim that'll be here, which the state, and just to put that into perspective, Mayor, we did have a situation where someone at the regional level did disagree with a lot of what we were trying to accomplish that was pushing back on Dennis. That person was asked to leave by the state, and they now have a new person that's been in place. And so they're working in tandem with us and Dennis's team and our engineers to make sure that we're meeting those requirements. So the state has definitely gone to bat for us. us when we run into those issues. But for 2 weeks, we'll have an interim. They're going to try and get as many of those site visits and different qualifications done as possible. And then we'll have a new person who I was able to meet with, Ali Rai and them on a phone call with, who is also of the belief that we need to try and move as many of our projects forward as quickly as possible. So we're going to be in a good place in about 2 weeks.
And I'm very thankful for Ally and her team, Jeremy, Dr. Jeremy and Ashley and Paul and these people that have a vested interest in our community, because they don't have to, but they always are supportive because they're tuned, and you guys do a great job. So thank you. Okay.
Mayor, I move approval of task order 2024-003P-09 with Bohannon Houston Inc. for professional engineering services on flood-damaged infrastructure that includes restoration and improvements of local paved roads, local all-weather roads, gravel roads, paved and all-weather driveways, culverts, embankments, erosion control measures, and retaining wall in the amount of $611,330.78, including gross receipts tax.
Second.
Discussion?
Oh, I got one question. Just out of curiosity, you mentioned that you were, in the end, probably going to put it out break it down into 2 or 3 bid packets. So I was just curious, since this is a large area incorporating quite a bit of work and different types of work, how are you going to break those packages out? Was it going to be by areas, or are they going to be by certain tasks?
It'll most likely be broken out by areas. There's some areas that only involve the roadways, some that involve the culverts. Those will be combined because you can't build the roadway without doing the culvert first. But other than that, it'll be broken out in different areas. The packages that Dennis has put together has different PW numbers, and so we're trying to track each project through those PW numbers. Some of them will be combined, but for the most part, each package will have its own PW identification number.
Okay, so by area.
In Mayor and Council, he made a great point, is we have to reconcile this by PWs, so everything has to be separated, and that's where the work begins, so.
Thank you.
So you can tell this is going to get, if the engineering's 600,000, I think engineering used to be 15, maybe 20%, but I think it's like 25 now or so.
Are you referring to the fee?
Yeah.
So a lot of the fee has increased relative to each package that we have presented to you guys, mostly due to the survey efforts. The first package, it was kind of consolidated into Perk Canyon and the Upper Canyon work. But then the second package and this third package, it's kind of all over the village. And so that requires very extensive survey, ground control, and extensive survey, crews that come out here and spend weeks out here doing it. And that does lead to an update that I did want to provide. The first package, the survey work is complete for that. Dennis had mentioned an amendment to Perk Canyon. That survey field work is complete and it's currently being processed. The second FEMA package, we're about 60% complete with the field work.
So this roughly could cost between $3 and $6 million to complete the work.
Probably, yes.
Yep. I know it's a big guess. Do we have a vote yet?
No.
We can have a roll call, please.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Solis?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Okay, that
Thank
concludes
you for your hard work. Appreciate
the
it.
regular item discussion. Now we'll move into closed session. If I could get a motion, move into closed session, please.
Mr. Mayor, move that we move into closed session for discussion of limited personnel matters, citing 1015-1H2 NMSA 1978. Further discussion subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the Village of Ruidoso is or may become a participant, citing 1015-1H7 NMSA 1978. And finally, discussion of the purchase, acquisition, and/or disposal of real property and/or water rights by the Village of Ruidoso, citing 1015-1H8 MSA 1978. Further, that all discussion will come back for further discussion as we recall from closed session.
Second.
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson,
Aye.
Counselor Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Eby,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman. Aye. Counselor Corey.
All right, we'll retire to closed chambers, and we'll see Hooker and Jackson back there.